Join me as I dive into the science and try to debunk these 10 fitness and diet myths that you have probably heard. When it comes to fitness, there's so much misinformation out there that can lead people in the wrong path. And that's exactly why it's so important to separate the facts from the fiction. In this video, we are going to tackle 10 fitness and diet myths that are very common, holding people back from achieving their true health and fitness goals. Are carbs the actual enemy? Is lifting weights going to make women bulky? Eating late makes you fat? Join me as I explore these questions and many more, all backed by proper scientific research. If you want to read about scientific papers behind any of these myths that I'm going to talk to you today, please leave a comment. I'm more than happy to share all those links with you. But to be perfectly honest, there could be some research papers that you might actually have to purchase if you want to read. The amount of misinformation in the fitness industry is getting worse by the day. Celebrities, influencers, and even some fitness professionals are spreading false information or unproven claims that are misguiding people who are simply trying to improve their health, or in even some cases to stay alive. And not only social media, even some of the most popular fitness articles and websites are guilty of the same thing. The problem is, people take this misinformation as gospel and it's affecting their progress and even their health. Take for example, the countless number of supplements and diet pills that claim to give you overnight results, or the fad diets that's promising you unrealistic weight loss goals. There's a whole industry built around these quick fixes and false promises. But what's even more alarming is some of these myths has already been debunked by science, yet people are still falling for them. So it's time to take a step back, look at the evidence, and separate facts from fiction. In the fitness world, it's very easy to caught up in the latest buzzwords, but we need to remember our bodies are much more complex machines that require a deeper understanding of physiology, nutrition, and biomechanics. So let's dive into these very common fitness and diet myths and break down each myth so you can actually understand the facts behind it. Myth number 1. Eating late makes you fat. To give you a very brief answer, fat gain is preliminarily determined by total calorie intake versus total calorie burn, not the timing of the meals. But saying that, there are some studies suggest that late night eating might be associated with weight gain. So let's break this down. If you're eating late night because of some cravings, there's a high tendency that you could be craving for high calorie, high fat, high sugar food, which can contribute to weight gain because of the excess amount of calories that you're consuming. Also, some research has shown that our bodies may not metabolize food as efficiently late at night, which could potentially contribute to fat storage. But although this is still debated, it's not 100% proven. But eating late can also have an impact on your sleep quality, which also can lead you into binge eating and make you more tired. That could result in you gaining more weight. So, considering these scientific factors, eating late doesn't inherently make you gain fat or weight, but it can make a small contribution under certain circumstances. The key factors will be what you eat, how much you eat, and your overall daily calorie consumption versus overall calorie expenditure. Just to conclude, while some studies suggest that late night eating might be associated with weight gain, it's often due to the food types that you consume, the portion sizes that you consume, and overeating rather than the timing itself. Hope that clears your doubt. Number 2. Eating carbs makes you fat. Eating carbs makes you fat is the most common misconception that I come across almost every day. I feel like this myth is oversimplifying the role of carbohydrate in our diet. let's get into the details. As you know, fat gain occurs when you consume more calories than you burn, regardless of those calories are coming from carbs, fats, or proteins. So, carbohydrate itself is not making you gain fat. It's the calorie surplus that leads to fat accumulation. It's also important to understand every carbohydrate is not the same. There are different types of carbohydrates, mainly two types. Simple carbohydrates like sugary snacks and white bread are quickly digested and can cause a spike in your blood sugar, leading to hunger soon after eating and potentially overeating. The second type is the complex carbohydrates like whole grains, vegetables, and legumes are digested more slowly, providing sustained energy and promoting satiety, which will be key when it comes to weight management. The other thing, most of the people are worried about the connection between consuming carbohydrate and insulin. Insulin spikes are a normal response to eating carbs, but it doesn't mean carbs directly cause fat gain. As I mentioned earlier, it's the surplus of calories makes our body accumulate fat. Most important bit, most of the people who believes this myth is forgetting about is the nutritional importance of carbs. Carbohydrates are our body's primary energy source, especially for the brain during physical activity. Restricting carbs too much can lead into very low energy levels, poor exercise performance, and even nutrition deficiencies in the long run. There's a lot of high carb food also a great source of fiber. For example, fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. These are essential for our digestive health and aid weight management by keeping us full. So in conclusion, choosing right type of carbohydrates is extremely important rather than just cutting carbohydrate as a whole food group. Carbs are an essential part of a healthy diet. When consumed in appropriate, correct amounts, it will help you with your energy levels, with your exercise performance, and it will not make you gain fat. Myth number 3. Once you stop weight training, the muscles that you gained will turn into fat. To give you a short answer, muscle tissues and fat tissues are two different types of cells with different functions. Muscle tissues composed of muscle cells contract and produce movement, and muscle tissues are metabolically active, means it burns more calories compared to a fat tissue. Fat tissues, on the other hand, stores energy and has a lower metabolic rate compared to the muscle tissues. When you stop training, your muscle mass will go down because of the lack of activity. This is also known as the muscle atrophy. This happens because the muscle gets adapted to the reduced workload and gradually lose the muscle mass if not used. Fat tissues can't turn into muscle tissues or vice versa. Instead, if you become less active and still consume the same amount of calories, you may start gaining fat because the decrease of your muscle mass has a direct impact on your metabolism, or in other words, now you have a slower metabolism. This could put you in a calorie surplus if you don't make the necessary adjustment to your calorie intake, resulting you gain fat. On the other hand, when you stop training, there's a huge possibility that you have already taken it a bit easy on all the other good habits that you have developed, like eating healthy food, counting calories, eating out a bit too much. So these reasons again can put you on a calorie surplus and makes you gain weight. It's not that the muscle tissues are converting into fat tissues. Myth number 4. Muscle weigh more than fat. I have overheard personally a conversation that happened in the gym. One person advising the other saying they should avoid weight training and just do cardio if they want to lose weight, because if they build muscle, that will be heavier than fat and the number in the scale doesn't go down. This whole muscles weigh more than fat is misleading. A pound of muscle or a kilogram of muscle weighs the same as the pound of fat or a kilogram of fat. But muscles are more dense compared to fat. Because of that, it requires less amount of space in your body than what is required for fat. That's the reason when you build muscle, you look leaner, but your body weight may not go down. Therefore, someone with more muscle mass will appear leaner when they weigh the same as someone with more body fat. Myth number 5. Lifting weights makes women bulky. I feel like this myth has been around forever. Many women avoid lifting weights because they are too afraid, thinking that they will look bulky. So let's break this down. Number 1, there's a huge hormonal difference when it comes to men and women. Men naturally have very high level of testosterone, a hormone that significantly contributes to muscle growth. And women have much lower level of testosterone compared to men, making it much harder for them to gain large amount of muscle mass. Women have high level of estrogen, which tends to promote fat storage rather than muscle gain. This hormone balance means that women are more likely to develop a lean, toned physique rather than becoming bulky by lifting weights. Number 2, muscle hypertrophy. Building muscle takes a lot of effort. It takes years of dedication, a combination of intense training and proper nutrition. It doesn't happen by accident. Casual or even moderately intense weightlifting, especially in women, generally leads to increased strength and muscle tone without significant bulk. Building muscle will also have a direct impact in lowering your body fat percentage, as muscle burns more calories at rest than fat. This can lead to a slimmer, leaner, more toned appearance rather than bulkiness. I also feel like I need to explain strength training and bodybuilding are completely two different things. Bulky physiques are a result of bodybuilding, which focuses on muscle hypertrophy with very specific training protocols and nutrition. Women who train with heavy weights often use lower rep range, which builds strength without necessarily increasing the muscle size. And this approach again helps you to get that lean, athletic look that you always wanted to get. Myth number 6. You can spot reduce fat. How many times that you see fitness influencers saying, do this exercise to reduce belly fat, drink this supplement to reduce belly fat, do 50 jumping jacks, do 50 crunches a day, do 100 crunches a day to have a flat stomach. All of those guys are 100% lying. Let's see how this actually works. Our bodies store fat all over the body, and where your body stores fat largely determined by your genetics, your hormones, your sex, and few other things. Common areas include the abdomen, hips, thighs, arms, and lower back. When you create a calorie deficit, your body begins to break down the fat storage. However, fat is mobilized from fat stores throughout the body, not just from one area that you are targeting and exercising. Fat loss is a systemic process, meaning it occurs throughout your body. You cannot choose where your body loses fat first or last. It happens according to your body's unique pattern. Targeted exercises like crunches, planks, leg lifts can strengthen and build muscle in specific areas, but they do not directly burn fat in those areas. As you lose overall body fat, the muscles you are building and strengthening will become more visible, giving the appearance of spot reduction. The fat loss will occur from your entire body. So what's the best way to have a flat stomach and lose your love handles? Eat in a calorie deficit, do strength training, have a healthy diet, and be patient. because it's going to take time. There's no shortcuts. Myth number 7. Cardio is the best way to lose fat. As you already know, the only way to lose fat is to stay on a calorie deficit. So, your nutrition will play a major role in your fat loss journey. Managing your calorie intake through a balanced diet, it is extremely important. The other thing that you can do is weight training. Build muscle. Building more muscle mass means your metabolism is gonna get faster. Preserving your muscle mass or improving your muscle mass can also have an afterburn effect. In simple words, after weight training sessions, your body, your muscles will continue to burn calories at an elevated rate. That will also help you to stay on that calorie deficit. Cardio exercises like running, jogging, step machine, swimming, cycling, dancing will burn calories. It will not burn fat. The only way to burn fat would be through a calorie deficit, as I mentioned earlier, through your nutrition. I would say 80% of your fat loss journey success will rely on your nutrition. Myth number 8. Sweating more means you are burning more calories. Have you ever thought when you sweat more that you burn more calories? Not necessarily. Let's break this down. Sweating is your body's cooling mechanism. The amount of sweat is influenced by factors like the weather, the temperature, humidity, and individual genetic differences and fitness levels. Calorie expenditure is more closely related to the intensity of the exercise that you are doing. For example, doing sprints will burn more calories compared to a moderate pace walk, no matter how much you sweat. The other thing that I feel like many people are misunderstood is water weight and fat loss. When you sweat, you lose fluids, and that will temporarily reduce your weight, and you should be able to see that on the scale. But it does not mean that you have lost fat. To lose fat, now you know you need to create a calorie deficit. That's the one and only way. And on the other hand, some people naturally sweat more, and it doesn't correlate with a high amount of calorie burn at all. When your fitness levels improve, you may sweat less doing the same workouts because your body become more efficient in regulating the body temperature. However, most likely it will still be burning the same amount of calories as when you first started. Myth number 9. Using body pains as the indicator to measure the effectiveness of the workout. Let's break this down. The idea of body pains after a workout is often referred to as delayed onset muscle soreness, or DOMS. DOMS normally occurs when you perform a new exercise, especially those involving eccentric muscle contractions, or in other words, lengthening under tension. While that it can indicate that your muscles are adapting, it doesn't necessarily mean that your workout was effective. As you get fitter, you may experience less soreness, but you are still getting a good workout. This adaptation doesn't mean that your workout is now less effective. Of course, you need to do progressive overload, but it just simply means your body is becoming more efficient. The most dangerous side of this is excessive soreness can be a clear indication of an upcoming or an existing injury. Intense soreness can sometimes indicate that you have pushed yourself a bit too hard, or that your technique is wrong or your form is off. This can increase the injury risk. You should evaluate the effectiveness of your workouts through strength, endurance, flexibility, cardiovascular health, and your overall fitness rather than just the presence of soreness. So in summary, while experiencing some soreness during your workouts are normal, it isn't a definitive measure of workout effectiveness. Focusing on well-rounded approach into fitness, including proper technique, recovery, progress tracking, provides a better gauge of your workout quality and effectiveness. Last one, Myth number 10. Eating fat makes you fat. Fat has got a very bad rep, but not all fats are created equal. Let's break this down. There are three main types of fats: saturated fats, unsaturated fats, and trans fats. Saturated fat is commonly found in food like butter, ghee, cheese, red meat. Consuming these things excessively can cause some health issues, but they are not the sole scale of fat gain. Unsaturated fat found in food like olive oil, nuts, and avocados, these are generally considered healthy fats and can actually help you to manage weight. Trans fats are artificial fats that are found in processed food and harmful to your health. Potentially can lead to weight gain and other loads of health issues. As you already know, fat gain happens when you are in a calorie surplus. So, eating a lot of fats can lead you to consume more calories because 1 gram of fat contains 9 calories. That's almost double compared to carbohydrates and proteins, which is only 4 calories per 1 gram. Saying that, you also need to understand fats are essential for our health. They help with the nutrients absorption, hormone production, and energy storage. Eliminating fats totally from your diet can lead to deficiencies and long-term health problems. Healthy fats can also help with the weight management. They can keep you full for longer and help you to reduce the overall calorie intake and stay in that calorie deficit. And final thing, overall food quality matters. Focusing on overall diet quality is important than cut off fats completely. A balanced diet that includes healthy fats along with fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains is the key to maintaining a healthy weight. By now, you must have a good understanding why these fitness and diet myths need to be debunked. It's time to recap the myths that we have covered and remind you why it is important to rely on scientific evidence when it comes to your fitness and health. Thank you very much for watching, and I would love to hear from you in the comments. What was your favorite myth that we have debunked, and what was the most damaging myth that you have fallen in the past? Be sure to share this video with your friends and family. If you find any value in this video, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up, a comment, and subscribe. See you next time. Stay positive, stay healthy, stay happy.